Today, we're diving into a story of art, war, and unbelievable bravery. It's a real-life thriller that took place inside the walls of the most famous museum on the planet. So picture this. It's Paris, summer of 1939. The city's alive, right? But underneath it all, there's this growing sense of dread. War is coming, and with it, a huge threat, not just to people, but to centuries of culture, of human history, all locked away in the Louvre. For the staff at the Louvre, this wasn't some far-off problem. It was an urgent, almost impossible task staring them right in the face. The question wasn't if they should hide the art, but how. I mean, how on earth do you make 3,000 of the world's most famous works of art just vanish? Now, here's the thing. This was no last-minute panicked scramble. No way. The director of National Museums, a guy named Jacques Jaujard, had been secretly working on a detailed evacuation plan since 1933. They saw what was coming, and they had been getting ready for years. And the scale of this whole thing, it was absolutely staggering. The day Germany invaded Poland, September 1st, 1939, that plan kicked in a high gear. And get this, in just a few days, they packed and shipped out 5,667 crates from Paris's museums. It was a logistical marvel, all done in complete secrecy. So, to manage all that chaos, the curators came up with this brilliantly simple coding system. A yellow dot meant, important work. A green dot meant it was of major importance. And a red dot? Well, a red dot was for the absolute crown jewels of humanity, the stuff we just could not afford to lose. But even among those priceless treasures, there was one piece that was just so iconic, so completely irreplaceable, that it got its own special classification. Not one red dot, but 3, a symbol that its value was just off the charts. And you probably guessed it, right? Of course, it was the Mona Lisa. At this point, she wasn't just a painting anymore. She was a fugitive. They packed her into a custom-built, velvet-lined, climate-controlled case with the simple ID tag MNLP0. Her mission? Stay on the move and never, ever get captured. And for years, the Mona Lisa was constantly on the run, moving from one castle to another, always staying one step ahead of the front lines. By 1942, things got really bad. All of France was occupied, the danger was everywhere, and her guardians were forced to find the most remote, most isolated hiding spot they could. And they found that refuge in the Lot, a rural region way down in southwest France. You've got these dense forests, secluded medieval castles. It was basically the perfect secret kingdom to hide the world's most wanted masterpiece. But here's the catch. These ancient castles were anything but perfect warehouses. The curators suddenly had a new enemy to fight, the environment itself. We're talking cold, damp, humidity, all of it a constant threat to these delicate canvases. So the mission wasn't just hiding the art, it was a battle to stop it from literally rotting away. At places like the Château de Montal, these curators basically became sentinels. Their job was relentless, 24/7 surveillance, constantly checking for humidity damage, even running fire drills. One curator actually slept in a bed placed right next to the Mona Lisa's crate, every single night. I mean, talk about dedication. So protecting France's national art collection, that was their official job. But for some of these curators, that wasn't enough. They felt a much deeper moral duty, a secret mission that would mean risking absolutely everything. See, officially, their mission was to protect state-owned art. And that art had some legal protection under international law, the Hague Conventions. It basically meant the Nazis couldn't just walk in and take it. But private art collections, especially the ones owned by prominent Jewish families like the Rothschilds, they had zero protection. To the Nazis, they were completely fair game to be looted. And this is where heroes like André Champson and Lucie Mazaric stepped up to undertake an unbelievably dangerous, unofficial mission. Their plan was just so incredibly audacious. First, they rescued 29 crates of Rothschild art. Then, they forged documents to make these priceless private works. We're talking pieces by Picasso, Rembrandt, Renoir, looked like they were part of the national collection. They were literally hiding them in plain sight right under the noses of the enemy. And the result of all that incredible bravery? Despite the war, the raids, the damp castles, not a single piece of art they were protecting in the lot was lost. Not from the national collection, and not from the private collections they rescued. Zero. An absolutely stunning, total success. After the war, you'd think the story ends with this big, triumphant return to Paris, right? Well, not quite. The journey home was just as slow and careful as the escape. You have to remember, post-war France was exhausted, and resources were incredibly scarce. There was no fuel for the trucks, no money, no coal to even heat the massive galleries of the Louvre. The curators knew it was actually safer to keep the masterpieces out in the countryside until Paris was truly ready for them. The Louvre wouldn't fully reopen its doors until 1947. This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? These people weren't just civil servants doing their job. Many of them, like André Chamson, became active members of the French resistance. They were guardians of culture who committed themselves body and soul to protecting our shared human heritage. And that really leaves us with a powerful question. The story of the Louvre's curators is an incredible testament to the courage of ordinary people in the most extraordinary of times. And it just makes you wonder, if our culture, our art, our history were all threatened today, who would step up to be its guardians?